You know, growing up, I had this very strong sense of alienation. And when I went to analyze this standing on my own type of experience, uh, I, th- I thought, I'm clueless. I really don't understand. How can people act this way? How can they behave this way? Well, how am I supposed to behave? What is the right way? What kind of response do I want to have from others? But as I got older, I realized that this is actually not my own, but what was given to me. There's an aspect in my family that is rather unaware of many of their personal tendencies. This self reflectiveness that I have to be able to reflect upon myself, I realize is not common, though not uncommon, just not what I was born into. I was not born into a very self reflective family. And I was talking in the previous clip about following other people causes dependency. Getting people to be leaders causes dependency. Um, and we can live by terms and definitions that are not our own. And that's where the alienation actually stemmed from, was that I was living by terms and definitions that I had not earned, but inherited. And in my living my life, this anxiety, this anxiousness, it wasn't really anxiety so much as this feeling alienated, um, inspired me to go do my own thing. And many like to term and define it as rebellion, as authority complex, things like this. But all those terms benefited them. Those that were calling me those names benefited them. It's important what we call other people. We got to realize when we name something, does that benefit us, or are we actually calling it what it is? Do we call a duck, or are we calling it a duck because we want to eat duck tonight? Or we need, you know, to get all our ducks in a row? What is our intention of what we name? And as a young person, I pretty much was a good kid. Though I was rebellious, I really gave the benefit of the doubt to my elders. I really did. But I was never able to really use all of their techniques the way they wanted me to, because I didn't earn them. I only inherited them. You can put a fork in your pocket, but if you never learn how to use the fork, you know, you do strange things with it. So to say. So both my daughters are independent and strong and opinionated. They have their own view. um, Drug addiction is a very interesting thing in that the person becomes dependent upon the drug. And drugs can take any form. Being opinionated can be a drug, always having an opinion. It's like filling up a house full of stuff so that it doesn't feel empty. So you have an opinion about everything, and you think that you have an identity based on all of your opinions. I, however opinionated I may have seemed by other people, I was just giving different perspectives, and I just I never wanted to come across as a know-it-all. I just wanted to come across as somebody who had these alternate views intuitively arising spontaneously into my perspective. And I think that helped me have a better, well-rounded sense of the world and my place in it. Or the opposite, how I was not to believe in the world, certain aspects of the world. There's certain things that just are crazy, so to say, and I could have a perspective arise spontaneously and say, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't take it too seriously, you know. Or maybe I shouldn't take myself too seriously. Those things come up all pretty regularly. Spontaneous. I have an active imagination. And I step back and observe it, and I don't take it too seriously, and I understand that these are spontaneous things. I don't immediately adhere to them. I don't say, no, this is my thing. There are very few of those things that are like a root grounding, foundational truth to me. There's very few, and they're very broad, and I understand the difference between, you know, my own little rendition and the realities that are going on. Ray Bradbury died yesterday. It was on the news, and they had an excerpt from an interview, and he said, in order to write, you've got to write. And he said, you know, even if it's in the middle of the night or I'm going to bed, and I get a flash of an idea, I jump out of bed and I just write it down, and I just start writing. Whenever, wherever, whenever, that's what I do. And I really identified with that. He said, before I lose the thought. Because that's how it is with me as well, is it's very spontaneous. I don't have to regurgitate the known facts ad infinitum. And then yesterday, I read an excerpt. I went to the movies last night. I'll do this in the next clip.